Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. I wanna ball. Waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all, living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chilling with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My niggas is ready and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Ball. Waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all, living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chilling with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My niggas is ready and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough.
Okay, you can hear me, y'all. Fame speak. So, y'all, I'm having a technical difficulty as it is. Arcade, I see you here. I'm a certified yapper, and I'm trying to figure this out so bad, y'all, because nothing is working right now. And it's about to speak. I mean, not speak, but like human speak. Talk, I mean. Fame, I'm gonna punch you in your titty. Why can't they hear you? I don't know what. Y'all keep rocking with us. It's bad. I've went through all my audio sources. We are out of audio sources. You want to switch?
Oh, somebody said there's sound. Oh well, we're switching
Where?
over. Go live.
Out of huggers, yeah. Only for me.
Yeah, somebody let me know when we're.
What the hell?
It looks like you swapped over real cleanly.
Yeah, we're good.
Fame, he.
Cause I can't see.
Right, y'all. Sorry
But I
about
think
that.
we're good. Oh yeah, look at the changeover happening. Listen, we live. They can hear things. Y'all
That's
say
sexy.
something. I think we good.
Hello.
Listen, instantly been able to switch stuff out. Listen, I was saying right. Baron isn't here today, and I noticed now Troll isn't here today. So now, I mean, I could easily slander the both of them, and there not be any issue because who's gonna check me, right? Not scared of. You know what I'm saying?
Just
check you,
outright
boo.
slander on
Outright slander. We
the
could talk
show.
about how Troll may or may not have gotten re-up on his visa. We could talk about how Baron loves elderly pinky toes. We could talk about all of that if we wanted to, but we're not going to, right? Because we want to talk good on our people. When they're not
elderly
around.
pinky toes.
I talk about people
Specifically
till they
the
say
elderly.
behind their back. But we got a lot to talk about. Now that we got things fixed, listen, what's on the docket for today, right? We got to talk about The Last of Us. Y'all see my man Joe chugging that milk because we got to talk about The Last of Us once again, giving us. I know people going to say, oh, you can't be mad about free updates. We still going to talk about it, okay? Oh, no.
That's a whole man right there.
That's why we can't hear you. That's why we can't hear you. That's what you get. Yeah, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. Pinky
okay.
toes.
I just want to say you can't read.
You didn't have to tell people that.
That was like that grandma that like turns on the iPad for the first time that like doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
100%. But listen, we're gonna talk about that. My apologies. We're gonna talk about Game Pass being profitable because there's this big old thing about Game Pass not being profitable. We've been telling you guys for the last couple of years that it is. The proof is in the pudding. We also talk about the report from Windows Central about Halo, the next Halo possibly having some issues. But first up, it's going to go with the introductions to get that out the way. First up, my right hand, man, the Flahugger with the hardest of ours. What's going on, sis?
What's going on, y'all? Make sure you give Fame all the props and credits because I have no audio sources. So Fame is not only the host, he's the full-time eye candy, he is the arm piece, and he's also the producer looking extra good. So make sure to give him all his props tonight.
Listen, next up, Dallaz. Man,
I feel like it's been a long. I feel like it's been a long time, man. I obviously missed last week, and anytime feels like it's been a long time, but like this time especially. So that being said, I'm ready to get it going. Let's go.
So what you're saying, Dallas, that it's been a long time. We shouldn't have left you.
We shouldn't have left you.
What I
You
would
gotta know step. Even though I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm like exceedingly mad at Timberland right now, but that's a complete different conversation.
It's an AI conspiracy, man.
I feel a way about Timberland right now, but that's a whole separate conversation. But I am definitely ready for this one, so let's get it.
Next up, my fellow Texan, my homie from Center Links, Caleb. What's going on, brother?
Howdy, partner.
There's a snake in my boot.
There's a snake in my boot.
There's also a flood in your boot too.
There is bad. I'm doing good, man. I've been really busy doing a lot of content creation and flying all over the country recently. So we're doing some pretty big stuff. I'm pretty excited. Still waiting on this guy that I know named fucking Fame to call me, excuse my language, and say, "Hey, man."
Jay Throne.
His
Jaw
face
is dropped.
Scandalized.
That needs to be a meme.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, if you're not at QuakeCon, I'm telling you, I'm gonna get your address.
Is QuakeCon real this year? Is it real this year?
No, it's just the same shit. I know, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not even going up there to cover it. I'm just going up there that weekend because it's the 7th is my birthday and my wife needs a break. We got some she hasn't had a chance to relax. Yes, I'm gonna be in the area.
Sounds good.
For sure, bro.
Last but not least, new to the podcast, first time here, a bald-headed demon. JP, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, y'all? My name is Jay Penumbra. I'm comic video game extraordinaire. My credentials are listed behind me if you have any concerns. I stream all throughout the week playing Destiny 2 or Marvel Rivals, whatever comic book stuff I want, or just RPGs in general. I am grateful to be here. Thank you for having me.
Who is your Marvel Rivals main?
So I am a Cloak and Dagger main, I am a Thing main, and then in a month I will be a Blade main because I said from jump that once Blade drops, I will be the sweatiest Blade. Like you see my fellow content creator Quad King on TikTok, he is an Adam Warlock main. I will be the king of the vampires. Like we will be running these streets. I don't care. I will be the Louis Dupondelak of the Marvel Rivals. It does not matter.
Listen, I'm coming back to Marvel Rivals. We can run together. I'm a Penny main. Okay?
Let's go.
I'm telling you, I'm a dope ass Penny.
If you don't put those minds down, we're gonna have a problem.
Oh, trust me, I will raid you into existence because I'm gonna have them down everywhere. And I was a badass Penny main before the buff and before the Rocket team up. Could you imagine the damage I'm about to do now? And all my credentials is up through all my lives and all my play history. I was a goddamn demon when it comes to that, right? But listen, Scarlet Witch was originally my pure. Let's go crazy, Scarlet Witch. Listen.
Chaos.
Listen, before we get going really quickly, right? Our first goal for tonight's podcast is to hit 20 likes. We're at 11 already. If we can hit 20 likes, you guys hit that like button. It helps us out a whole bunch. It's free 99. It doesn't cost you a dime. Also, this ain't Twitch, baby. Subscribing is free. It don't cost you nothing. It's just free support, helping push a black man through the algorithm. That's all that means, okay? However, if you guys want to support Level 1 Gaming and level1gaming.com, which, by the way, is completely ad-free to increase the likability and the user-friendliness of our website, it is completely ad-free. But if you want to support us, please consider becoming a channel member. As you see Legendary Yobit, the channel member, spamming some of the emotes. Consider becoming a channel member. We do have exclusive videos and stuff like that for our channel members. You can also super chat as well. But thank you guys so much for rocking with us, man. Also, last but not least, man, share the stream out on Twitter and or Blue Sky. Let people know that we are live and we're doing our best to get and stay more consistent with doing our podcast. But I want to jump right into it, and I want to talk about The Last of Us, right? Because correct me if I'm wrong, right? And I get the people that's going to tell me, how can you be mad at a free update? How can you be mad at a free update? I totally understand that, right? Whoa, we not live anymore?
No, we are.
We are live, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It went blank on my screen for a second, but we're now we're back. Okay, you guys let me know if we're not live.
Doing whatever it wants to do today.
Yes, it's been stupid. But The Last of Us is back in the news again, right? Because we got The Last of Us Chronological. Is that what we call them? The Chronological Mode. I think
the Chronological Experience is what it's called.
Chronological Experience, right?
Not the experience. No.
Is it me? Now, you guys tell me. I want to know the panel's number one thoughts. Because I'm gonna say it, right. I think Naughty Dog needs to do something a little different. I know we got Intergalactic is coming out, and I get that, right? But it's enough of The Last of Us, right? We've been playing the same thing since PS3. It's like, yeah, we're gonna remaster it, and then we're gonna flip it upside down, and then we're gonna, give it a buff, super buff Abby edition. Then we're gonna give you, we're gonna give you this, that. I mean, then we're constantly getting The Last of Us. I mean, the 2 came out, and I give you that, right? But we're constantly going back to The Last of Us over and over again. JP, I'm gonna start with you. Number 1, do you think it's being milked? Number 1, and number 2, second part to this, what franchises as well do you think is being milked right now?
So I'm not even gonna. I'm gonna just shut it down right now because Last of Us hasn't even remotely reached Skyrim levels of like milking and restarting. So like Naughty Dog has to make Naughty Dog money to get Intergalactic out there. They already getting the hate from the grifters who are mad about old girl being in the spotlight of the game. They're trying to push this to get they just had a whole season of a TV show drop, and it's kind of like how when Black Panther the movie came out and Amazon sold out of the first volume of the comic book. Like, you're gonna have people who are coming to the game for the first time. They're trying to streamline the game as much as possible. That way, it's easy to understand. And they're like, hey, you just came over for the show. You saw Pedro. You saw what you liked. Now let's make it as clean of an experience as possible. Because some people might not like the game, but they're like, hey, you can play in chronological experience mode and enjoy it this way and get the full experience, get those parts of the game that you didn't get in the show and enjoy it this way and have a great experience. But as far as I'm aware, Skyrim still holds the biggest belt title ever because you can still play it on a TI-89 calculator. So like, I'm like, until we reach that point, Naughty Dog can do whatever the heck they want. That's where I'm at with it.
Caleb,
Nah. Forget all that.
Dallas saying he couldn't. Go ahead, D.
Because I get it. I get where you coming from with that. You're not entirely wrong. But nah, we not getting that pass. Listen, I can't get as extreme as the most extreme. I don't wait until I get ready to jump off the cliff to be like, nah, don't jump off the cliff. But it's too late now. I got my pinky toe is already halfway off. I'm like,
not the pinky toes.
And put your concrete grippers away.
Like, I don't need to be cliffhanger hanging from a cliff before you realize I'm too far. Like, no, I'm not saying that they necessarily. I get the meme. That's all I'm saying. There's a point in that meme. Sometimes bullying works. Sometimes shame is the right way to go. That now there's not always a time, but right now I think this is where we go. Listen.
Now let me ask you this though. Would you prefer them just keep trying to streamline and re-release this way, or would you rather them pull the Ubisoft and just keep having new sequels, new crappier sequels over and over and over again? They're just trying to make a little bit more money. Let it ride for a little bit till they get to Intergalactic, and then we probably won't hear from Last of Us until season 3 of the TV show comes out. Like, they're gonna let it ride. They're making it just as easy as pop.
But that's a lot of riding, man. We still got Crash Bandicoot. Like, we still got other stuff to talk about. That's a lot of riding. Listen, you have a new game coming out. Even if you just like drip feed me like tidbits of it, this is what I'm interested in what you're doing now. There's not too, and I'm a Last of Us fan. Every release since PS3 I've bought. I'm one of those people that consume everything Naughty Dog puts out. I think they are an incredible studio and make, now I won't say perfect games, but they make games for me, right? So, but if my friends as a creator won't let me get away with just putting the same thing out over with a new coat of paint, and not even the coat of paint sometimes, and being like, here you go, then I can't in good conscience just let you slide without saying, hey, look, you too creative, do something else. This is why we got 3 different GTAs on PS2 and GTA 5 has been on 3 different PlayStations. Because nobody said, hey, listen, let's stop spending money on GTA online.
I feel like that's a different conversation, because at least you can say GTA has put out more expansions. They've given you more content.
You're talking about online versus a single player game.
Yeah.
Fair.
And there was an era where we had 3 GTA games, Manhunt, 2 games. We had Bully. We had
That was a time gone, Dallas. That was before consoles could connect to the internet. That's a time gone.
And would you like to see?
We're not in that. We haven't been in that world for like 20 years now, though.
Imagine.
I love the rally behind the old man things, but like this is not for you though. This is for the people that need it or want to play it. That's what it boils down to.
Those people probably played it.
That's right.
She made a great point.
Time out. Caleb, I want to get your thoughts, man. Is The Last of Us, is it being milked?
Well, first off, I got to shout out Dallas for that fucking King of the Hill background, bro. I'm tripping over here and seeing that. But
he's getting ready for the reboot, so it's okay.
Hey, I'm down. That's my show.
And he recycles his cans too.
That's right. That's right. I don't. It's a tough thing to really say if they're milking it. You know what I'm saying? Because Neil Druckmann announced the other day that, he's, the way I look at it is Neil made the right decision by leaving the show before they started changing things and all this. I mean, they're talking about doing season 3 and HBO's like, well, we want to keep this going. Look at this. And so I don't know how that's really going to play out. Like, I don't know if they're just going to, if maybe Naughty Dog puts a stop to it and is like, hey, all right, wait a second, or
it's because
the statement beforehand, anything that happens after this show or after this episode is no longer supported by Naughty Dog. When I looked at the statement, the reason this update even happened is something that the dev team had talked about doing for, at least the last year or since the release of the game. Of thinking, well, what if there was a way of being able to play it chronologically? And I think it's cool. I mean, it's a free update. Cool, awesome. It gives people a chance to play the game different, especially people that are obsessed with it. But I think if it stays where it's at right now, then we're good. But if we see anything else after this, then we do have to kind of lump it up into the whole, well, maybe it is kind of like Skyrim.
The next game will be The Last of Us again. It's just going to
no, right? Yes, yeah. I sent a little picture in the chat and in the live podcast chat. Y'all gotta look at it because we're talking about this, and this is the first image I'll see on Twitter. I'm like, man, come on, bro. Like, can we just, man? Can we like the hate, man? The hate. It is weird. It is weird how much hate Naughty Dog gets. I think at times. But at the same exact time, I mean, we could say I'm sure I have some difference of opinions about Game Pass, which we will talk about here in just a bit. But I feel like it's not at that point yet to where it's like, all right, now you're just milking. I would think if they came out and they were like, Last of Us Chronological Edition, $59.99, or even if it was $39.99, then you could say, "All right, motherfucker."
But this is free.
Hit the e-brake. What are you doing? But with it being free, I don't know if it's really stating to that fact. But I will say if they continue, if there's another update and they're re-releasing something else again, then all right, bro, that's enough. Like, just focus on your new game. Every once in a while, post some videos up or something. Let us know because I'm very excited about their new project.
Just wait till you get the Last of Us Xbox Game Pass edition.
I mean, hey, there's already talks that we're going to see more PlayStation exclusives over on Xbox. So, like,
you're thinking Helldivers is it?
Yeah, that makes sense though.
Oh no way!
You're going to see Spider-Man. You're going to see Horizon. It's going to start happening, man. The era of console exclusives is over, and I need people to understand that.
Yeah, I think we're actually going to start moving more into. I think we're going to start moving into seeing heavy third-party exclusive, like time frame exclusive. Like, hey, Xbox is going to have this game for a year, and the only way you can play it for this whole year is by playing it on Xbox, and then go out to everybody else. But I see that happening a lot more and a lot less. Now, I do feel like Sony is stingy with the God of War series. I don't know if they'll ever let God of War get on an Xbox. Now, I know that there's a possibility that you can basically play God of War.
I'm going to tell you what game it's going to be. I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to cut you off. I said it during 15 Minutes of Fame. It's going to be Horizon Zero Dawn.
You think so?
It's, when that third person over the shoulder action adventure type, a little bit of stuff element game goes to Xbox, it's going to be Horizon Zero Dawn.
I can see that
for sure.
It's far enough away from God of War and Uncharted. It's far enough away from those games to like they'd be like, oh, because right now it's, and it's not even the topic of the podcast. Right now it's like, oh, it's just Helldivers. What is it? And I think next is gonna be it's just Horizon. What does it matter, right?
It's just our
anybody
Gorilla's
that's
always been
anybody that's
PlayStation.
yeah, and anybody that's living in
Gorilla
that,
used to make Killzone.
yeah, Guerrilla Games. Think about it like this: like it's anybody that's living in the world of blinders, and they're not seeing that PlayStation actually listened with Arrowhead to the community. The community was outcrying for months, almost a year, of saying, "Please bring this game to Xbox. Please, we need, how." But and now think about how cool it's going to be if Arrowhead works with Xbox and brings over, ODST armor and Master Chief armor into the game, and then you see all this. That's the type of world of gaming that I want to live into. I would love. Like Helldivers was exclusive to PlayStation and PC for a bit. Now it's on Xbox. So a lot of people are talking about the MetaQuest, 3S. Xbox edition as well, because you're like, well, basically you can play Steam on there, so now you can play some of these PlayStation PC port games on your Xbox, and I mean you can, but I'm talking about a sit down experience. I feel that PlayStation is kind of starting to open their eyes and be like, all right, we've made a lot of money off consoles, but like the only way we're going to get to the point financially that we need to be is by selling some of our games that are exclusive to other consoles like Xbox and Nintendo Switch too. So I know I apologize.
No, you're good.
I need to get down to Hugs. I gotta ask you. I didn't get your opinion. The Last of Us, right? I'm not sure how into you. I'm so in. How much you're into the Last of Us franchise, right? But are we at the point to where we're talking? All right, we're up there with Skyrim. We're up there with like, are we up there in the? All right, it's getting milk now. It's time to move on.
Not even close. Not even if we're talking in terms of Skyrim. Skyrim is you can play it on your fridge. No, absolutely not. Skyrim is on anything. Like you can play Skyrim anywhere. Skyrim is becoming the Doom. Can it run it? Like Skyrim is his baby. She has a legacy status for a reason, and GTA also has a legacy status. These are still some of the top selling games on Steam. 13 years later.
Nope.
Like more than that, we are not at that milking status because I think that Last of Us provides a different experience. And for a lot of people, like Strolly just played them last year, 1 and 2. So many people are now getting into them where Skyrim is like, oh, you haven't played Skyrim? What's wrong with you? It's like, oh, you haven't played Last of Us? I can understand that. Do you remember? I haven't finished it. The beginning where Sarah gets killed? Oh!
Yeah.
Devastated me. I had to put it down.
You haven't finished that?
I watched Strolly play it. It's not a game I really desire to play.
I understand that.
But
so here's where we are right now. So it's
free content for the people that like it. And that's where I'm at. The people that like it, free content. I have nothing to complain about. But if there's a price tag, heck yeah. Content or free, whatever. Assassin's Creed has a museum mode that you can play the game passively.
Yep.
I've always been conflicted about that, to be honest with you.
Here's what we have so far. Yeah. We have The Last of Us Part 1 PS3 original. Then we had The Last of Us Part 1 PS4 remastered. With The Last of Us Part 1 PS5 remake. And then The Last of Us Part 1 PC release. And then we've had Last of Us Part 2 originally released on the PS4 in 2020. And then The Last of Us Part 2 PS5 60 frames per second patch in 2021. Last of Us Part 2 PS5 remastered 2024, and then a chronological update in 2025.
Let me ask
Can I play it on my fridge?
The update is not a re-release.
Let me ask this: Are each one of those individual re-releases, or how many of those are just like updates, like free updates?
We're looking
I think let's not get into that because that feels like splitting hairs.
Yeah, they got the original.
Is everybody tired of Last of Us?
Yeah.
My only concern though with the
That's a
TV
real
show.
question. Are
Bring
you
Buff Abby
tired of
back.
it or what? Okay.
I'm about to say I have 2 points. So my
Listen,
only
I
concern.
will. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, you're fine. My only concern with the TV show is I'm afraid that HBO is going to start acting like it's their Walking Dead, and they're going to milk it till the cows come home. That's my concern.
Yep.
If we want to talk about getting the cows out, that's a concern.
Okay, JP.
That's
Let me ask you this. Will the concern kick in when the PS6 launches and it launches with The Last of Us Part 1 and 2 Super Deluxe Remastered Edition? Will you have an issue when the PS6 launches with not just Last of Us 1, but The Last of Us 2?
Hey, girl.
100.
If it
Here's what
launches
I'll
with
say.
the game, I'd be surprised.
Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say. You get one combo. PS6 gets one combo. If we get to the PS7 or the PS6 Pro and you drop some crazy-ish, we have a problem. If it's just one combo, like how they did like the PS5 like collection games for free for the PS5 people, like if you give me one combo and then put Bloodborne on the side, cool, fine, whatever, that's fine. I'll rock with that.
And on top of that, JP, all it is, you giving us all these updates, and you gave us one update that gave us back the multiplayer you took away.
Yeah.
See, but that's different.
Yeah, but
though,
you were
because-
kind of on crack for thinking that
That's
was
the
still coming.
community. Look, I'm gonna tell you this. That's the community's fault. There was not enough community support, bro. Like,
yeah, that was.
I was
Plus,
playing,
that was also
Bungie's
Bungie's fault.
every day. I played that
was
shit
also
every
Bungie's
single
fault.
day.
As someone who
Yeah,
didn't play
that's
Last
true.
of Us multiplayer, I got a lot of friends and a lot of people in the community who will ride for the Uncharted multiplayer and Last of Us multiplayer.
Now, listen, the
fire.
Uncharted. Now, hey, look, the Uncharted multiplayer is a different story, okay? Because it was fire. It had a good community up until the point
Like
of them
the
saying,
Assassin's
"Hey,
Creed
it's done."
2.
But the
Man,
the Last of Us,
the Brotherhood
bro.
multiplayer was lit, bro. Oh my
Well, look,
god.
the Last of Us multiplayer was good and it was fun, but there wasn't a big player base there. It just died out. So I feel like it was kind of like the original, like Metal Gear Solid 3 online. You know, it was massive when it first came online. You know, it was like, oh my god, and then it just died out, bro. You know.
Plus,
So,
my concern with that is that we
my
don't
first
need
online
to
game.
we need to
Oh,
calm
what
down the
is
live services. We need to calm
Yeah, I
down the
agree.
live services.
and let me state this one more thing, and then we can, you know, if we need to move on, we'll move on. But
Yeah,
we're talking about The Last of Us, so I just wanted to state this. I am not a fan of The Last of Us show at all.
I never watched
Nothing
season
against Bella. Nothing against Bella Ramsey. I think she is a great actress. I mean, I loved her in Game of Thrones, bro. Like, she was one of my favorite characters. Loved
Oh
her.
my gosh,
But
she was
listen,
amazing.
She is not right for Ellie. She's not. The biggest thing is, I wish they would have thought about this in contrast, okay? Because there's a lot of people that I know, and like, for instance, my uncle lives in New York, he's heard me talk about The Last of Us before, but when the show came out and he watched the whole first season, he was like, holy fuck, this is amazing. It was great. And I'm like, yeah, you know, there was some stuff that I liked about it and I didn't like about it, but overall, pretty good. So then when the second part comes out, he was so pissed because he was like, I'm confused. Like, this is supposed to be like years later. And I said, yeah. And he goes, well, okay, but Ellie looks exactly the same, sounds exactly the same. It's like the same exact scrawny kind of height. So like, there's not going to be an older character that somewhat looks like her or something. I said, no, they're just using it. He said, well, now I just feel like I'm watching a teen drama. I'm not like, I didn't watch a teen go through a lot and then grow into like a super badass. I watched a teen go through a lot and then be like, hey, I'm kind of still a child. You know, like, and I told him, I said, for me, that's the thing that doesn't correlate properly with the game and the show, comparing it to season 2. Because in the game, as well as y'all know, when Ellie gets to that point and she's older, bro, you don't fuck with her, bro.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. She
Yeah.
is a badass woman that you know, showcases, of course, she still showcases that she's young. But she also showcases a lot of things that Joel kind of rubbed off on her over the years. And I think that Bella Ramsey somewhat did that, but I don't know, man. I just didn't feel so as captivated as I did, you know, playing it.
So my critique of that is specifically the first season where specifically Bella Ramsey as an actor, they specifically sold me on their portrayal of Ellie was the fire and the cult, and when they had to just straight like take it to old dude when he tried to go for it, like whole buildings burning down, and that was beat for beat, bar for bar, that whole scene from the game. That's when you sold me perfectly. My critique of season 2 is the writing. It's not Bella's fault because they're 21. They're 21. Like the hyperbolic. They don't look that well. Like I've looked the same way like since high school. Just gained a little bit of weight. Like I thought, like and some a little bit more gray hair. Like there's only so much that certain individuals like mature or change over time. And yes, there is a bit of a stark difference in the game. But from what we saw of Ellie in the show, the only issue was the writing. As an actor, Bella killed it with what they were given. But I think it is a misspeak to say that is Bella's fault or anything in that regard, because they did a great job of making sure they had longer hair, making sure they had the tattoos and whatnot, doing what they could with what they had. I wouldn't say it was a teen drama. I think the writing just dipped a little bit. If the writing would have been stronger, show would have been fine.
Because Abby's actress, Caitlin Denver, is a spectacular actress.
Now, listen, and like I said,
nobody wants to save you.
Yeah,
she's amazing.
I will say, listen, and y'all didn't hear me say anything about Abby. Okay, so like that's my thing is like I feel like Caitlin Denver did a great job at portraying Abby because that was the first time we had seen her in the show. You know, so I do understand that. Yes, you know, it is that perspective of thinking, you know, they added hair, they added tattoos, whatever. But I feel also, and I think this is a better way of assessing it is. I think the better way of saying it is whenever we're playing the game, when we're playing a game compared to watching a show, it's a much more deeper emotional connection because you're actually controlling these characters as they go through stuff. You know, so watching the show, it's not that I didn't think she was doing awesome because she did great. Some of the, as you said, the writing, a lot of times it's hard not to question like, what the fuck, that's weird the way they put this. You know, but I'm talking about in the comparison of the character that we see Ellie in literally the last scene of The Last of Us 1 to The Last of Us 2. Not only did we see her have longer hair and look a little bit older, but we also saw scars. We saw the issue when she took her shirt off and she was getting stitched up. She had all these cut marks, scars, all this other stuff that she's been going through with Joel for like 10 years. You know, so I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying I think it would have been more believable for me and more enjoyable if I would have seen a little bit more aesthetic aspects of like showing some wear and tear on her. You know, not making her look so like nothing's really happened over the last few years. There was a bunch of burning buildings and stuff, but you know, we're good. So I think that's really kind of it on that perspective. But I agree. I think she did a good job.
I'm gonna move us on, but I'm gonna make one final point. When it comes to inform of the games, right? Abby was the best character in both The Last of Us 1 and The Last of Us 2. I'm gonna switch us over a little bit. I do want to talk. I'm gonna briefly talk a little bit of numbers because it kind of goes into our next topic of the podcast. Right. First off, we did hit our first goal of 20 likes. Thank you guys so much. We had 22. Appreciate you guys helping us hit our first milestone of the show. If we can get 30 men or 23, if we can get 30 men, that's the next milestone. You guys are freaking awesome, right? But I do want to transition just a little bit, and I want to talk about some numbers. We don't really do numbers deeply in here, but it transitions to our next topic of the show, right? So I love people on Twitter like Shinobi who take information and compile it in a tweet because it makes things for me so much easier, right? So easier. USA Video Games May 2025 report. Year-on-year total spend increased 1%. Elden Ring Night Reign was the #1 selling game, followed by Doom: The Dark Ages and Forza Horizon 5.
Bangers.
Forza Horizon 5.
Damn straight.
I want to say, bangers. Man, crazy. PS5 sales increased 3% year over year and was the top selling console. Switch was #2. Xbox is #3. We know next month.
Don't forget the fact that we're finally seeing higher numbers of PS5s over PS4s. Finally.
Yes, sir. Yeah. The Xbox Series XX sales dropped 30%. The Nintendo Switch sales dropped 44% because we know the Switch 2 was coming. Of course, it makes sense. The PS5 console split was 51% disc, 49% digital. The Xbox was 21% disc and 79% digital. Subscription spending was at an all-time high at $600 million. The PS5 DualSense Midnight Black controller was the top-selling accessory. And Star Wars Battlefront 2 jumped the number 5 in best-selling on PC.
Yeah, bro.
I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one.
It's because of Fortnite, baby. That's why.
Now,
it's because of Fortnite, man.
Because Fortnite had a better Star Wars experience than Battlefront.
One more bit of tidbit here. Just looking at the top 5 games for sale, we knew against Elden Ring, Night Rain was number 1. Doom: The Dark Ages was number 2. Forza Horizon 5 was number 3. Elder Scrolls Oblivion was number 4. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 was number 6. MLB The Show. Black Ops 6 was number 5. MLB The Show to number 6. Minecraft number 7. GTA 5 is number 8.
Are you tired of that yet?
Bro.
The milk not enough?
How are you still buying brand new copies of GTA 5?
You want to know my biggest conspiracy theory that's going to happen next year? Like straight up, Rockstar is going to say none of your stuff transfers from GTA Online 5 to GTA Online 6, and everybody's
Find their
going
house
to
down
riot.
and burn it down.
Everybody's going to
Like-
riot.
The thing I wanted to transition to, right? Because in here we talk about the Xbox Series XS sales dropping 30%, right? But as we all know, Microsoft, yes, they would like to sell you an Xbox, but what they really want you to do is subscribe to Xbox Game Pass, right? We've had this conversation on here last week when Baron was here, and it was when we had on who's in the chat right now, Chips and Sticks, right? We talked about how, unfortunately, Xbox had those layoffs, and we wanted to. We went back and forth on the layoffs, right? But it was brought up like, man, Xbox Game Pass, people keep saying how it's not profitable, right? There was articles coming out about how Xbox Game Pass isn't profitable. And we spoke about how Microsoft has no issue cutting off its nose to spite its face. If something that's not profitable, they will get rid of it, right? So to me, that alone let us know that Xbox Game Pass is profitable. Well, now, after a week of, oh my God, because if you don't include the cost of development, Xbox Game Pass is not profitable. Now this week, those same writers are now saying, our bad, we messed up, Xbox Game Pass is profitable. Caleb, I'm gonna start with you. Where are you? Like, do you truly believe in your heart of hearts that Xbox Game Pass is not necessarily what Microsoft wants it to be right now, but it is a winning formula for them?
It's a hard thing to say. So Xbox Game Pass is profitable. It is proven that it's profitable. My thing is Xbox Game Pass good for gaming? That's the real question. So yes, it's profitable. The reports are stating, it's crazy, but Microsoft has a total revenue of like 5.5 billion by the end of this year, just for Game Pass. That's what they've projected for years, and it seems like it's making headway, of course. But how is it hurting gaming? So I can't say for sure that it is hurting gaming. I don't have any facts showing that it's hurting gaming, but somebody like me, I am questioning things because as of now, there's a total of 29,000 jobs that have been cut, which I understand trimming the fat. I understand it. It's a business. You're not just a business. You're basically a monopoly. Okay. So there's other companies out there that are just the same exact way that own all these companies like Tencent and, Epic. They've got money all over the place and okay, cool. But trimming the fat is one thing. Firing developers to trim this fat in the way that they've done it is another thing. So I can't help but think somebody is hitting up the game section of Xbox and saying, all right, listen, we're spending too much money on all this stuff. We're not making enough money. Like, outside of that, what is the reason for cutting the jobs? Where are they losing? I don't understand. So then you look online and you see that there's been like an $80 million investment, I think,
in AI,
somewhere around there into AI. Microsoft wants to invest $80 million into AI. So I'm not trying to trash on you, Microsoft. You know I love you. I do. But it's hard for me as a worker, as somebody that is of middle class, not to look at this and say, okay, so you're anti-worker too. You know, if you're investing $80 million into AI to make things better, how can I not look at that and say, okay, so you're anti having, you're anti the system that's in place to make people successful in the games industry. You know what I'm saying? Especially whenever they're like, hey, we're going to take these people in. And I hear this quote over and over again, and it's not Phil Spencer's fault. I'm going to state that because we talked about this on the Second Opinion podcast last night, and I think it got miscued. I'm not saying it's Phil Spencer's fault. He's sending out words that are being told to him to say of Xbox has never looked stronger. It's never had the games that it has. It's never has the studios that it has. It's never had the connectivity that it has. Now Xbox is going everywhere. Okay, if that's the case, if Game Pass is extremely profitable and it's doing great for the games industry, why are we cutting so many jobs? That's a question that anybody should be asking. So yes, it is profitable, but at what cost?
Hugs, I'm gonna switch over you, Hugs. I got to ask you your thoughts on this, right? I know you're someone who I believe subscribes to Game Pass on PC, right? And all the things we're hearing and everything happening at Microsoft, right? I know Chip's great point. Revenue does not equal profit, right? Hugger, do you believe that the new report after the new report from last week that yes, indeed, Xbox Game Pass is profitable?
As a, podcaster, I have my opinions, but as a consumer, I don't care. You just spent $70 billion, you figure it out to make it profitable, The games are for me. I will never not subscribe to Game Pass because one game is $100 here in Canada starting. So profitably, it makes no sense for me to play any. And honestly, I would never play half the games I did if they weren't on Game Pass. I just finished Callisto Protocol, and I would have never bought that. Truthfully, I was just like, nah, I'm good. I missed out on it, but it was on Game Pass and I finished it. And I'll probably buy it because it was so much fun. Gaming, we always talk about this. Gaming is not where we sit in our nice houses think it is. Bordy brings it up all the time. Not everybody has some people still on dial-up. Gaming is not where it needs to be. The internet is not where it needs to be for anything. So if Game Pass, whatever it does, as long as it gets the people that want to play gaming, you as a billion-dollar company, you as Microsoft, one of the top 5 companies in the world, or whatever they are, they're standing, you can't figure out how to be profitable? That is not my concern. That is not my concern. You figure it out. You figure out why you're cutting people. You figure out why all of a sudden the talent in your stuff isn't important. But that is not my thing to figure out. I'm not going to bat for a multi-billion-dollar company. Give me my goddamn game. I want to play my Yakuza. I want to play my games on Game Pass for $11, $12 a month, and that's what I'm doing.
Here's what I'm gonna say.
Everything badware.
What I'm gonna say to that, Hugger, why, even as a consumer, taking away the content creator podcast talk, right? The reason I care as a consumer on whether or not Game Pass is profitable and whether or not this billion-dollar company is making money off of Game Pass, because if it's not, they're gonna take it away, and then we're hurt as a gamer.
But
so
we can't stop that.
No, I know we can't, but I'm just saying that's why I care, because I enjoy the service, right? Somebody in the chat was I think it was Don, right? I enjoy the service. I want it to be super profitable because if it's profitable, I get to keep it. And as somebody who's been subscribed to Game Pass since Game Pass was Game Pass, I want it to stay, and I don't want the prices to continue to get jacked up every 3 months, right? So I'm definitely with you on that, though, Hugger. For
then
sure,
don't
for
get
sure.
the service.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
I'm very much of that. Like, just if it goes up, vote with your wallet, because we always talk about voting with our wallet, and then some people discredit voting with your wallet. If you really don't like it, vote with your wallet, and don't say voting with your wallet doesn't matter. It does. Vote with your wallet. You don't like it, Xbox will notice those things, and it could be like what's the Google one, Stadia. You could put as much money as you want into it, and they could still take it away.
I think the problem, and I'm speaking for me. I think the problem for me is if I don't know what Game Pass, right? Let's say it's $17.99, right? And they say tomorrow it's $18.99, it's gonna be hard pressed for me to not pay that extra dollar to keep playing all of these freaking games. And I think because they do
Still
it in
cheaper
such
than Netflix
small,
for me.
because they do it in such small increments, a lot of people like myself, I'm gonna be like, oh, it went up $1, cool. Because right, it's still cheaper than Netflix. I pay almost $30 a month for Netflix. They keep going up,
And I'm
I
getting
keep
my
staying subscribed.
But unlike a haircut, I am getting my money's worth out of it. So
Yes.
I am willing to accept
Yes.
price raises to a certain point.
Yes,
Yeah.
no, 100%.
It's part of the world.
100%. D, I'm swinging over to you, bro. Pause.
I thought we said no pause before the show.
That's right, no pause.
You know what? No
My
pause.
bad. No pause. Dallas, your thoughts on Game Pass's profitability?
You know, it's funny. I have a hard time not looking at it the way Hugger looks at it. Mostly because no matter what happens, we are going to have zero control over it.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what ends up happening. But at the same time, like, I don't know. I want to look at that. No matter what happens, we got zero control over it. Whether, and at some point, like, worst case scenario, you'll either get priced out, or the service will just stop providing the things that you want to play, the things that you're interested in. And even in those cases, you either chill out until you get something that does offer you the value you're looking for, which will happen because they like money eventually, or you just move on to a different service. And I look at it, that the same way I do like the video streaming services, because it's kind of the same thing. You watch it until you find yourself just scrolling endlessly until you're feeling like there's nothing to watch. Then something gets popular, you remember that you had that service, you resubscribe, you keep it moving.
That's the truth, bro. That's what I do with Apple TV. I'm not resubscribing until Severance season 3 comes out.
Say that.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, that's how I look at it. And either way, like, just from like the consumer standpoint, right now Game Pass is kind of like on fire for me. It might look different for somebody else.
Yeah, because it's all going to be perspective on whether or not you like the games, right, D? So that's a good point.
Exactly, and those two things are like the major reasons why I have a hard time seeing outside that perspective, or why I have a hard time caring outside that perspective via Super. So it's like now we eating, and I'm enjoying what I can, and I'll move to something else. And I hate to see what would happen if the worst case scenario happens, but Microsoft's got enough money to just shovel it into the furnace until the so I think we'll be fine.
Okay, JP.
And if they don't,
go ahead. I'm sorry, Hugs.
No, you're good. You're good.
I know where you're
Right.
going with that.
I've
been preparing a manifesto while everyone's been cooking. I've been
now, Hugs is going to say
something
something provocative. I want to know what it was.
Oh Lord! So I'm going to take everyone back to the year 2002. Let's swing it back real quick. McDonald's rolls out the dollar menu, the most affordable thing for the consumer starts to feel that this is the best deal for the family, where you can get 5 cheeseburgers, 5 fries, and 5 drinks. You can feed the whole household in a day and go home for $15. You can do whatever you need to do for $1. Then a little bit later, the franchises start to complain to corporate and say, hey, we're not making our money back from this. What are we gonna do? We're like, it seems to be profitable because everyone's loving it, everyone's enjoying it, etc. But are we? Right. But like, are we actually profitable? So what does corporate do? They roll out the McValue menu, which is $1, $2, $3, and you see some restructuring to happen. Then franchises start complaining again, and they're like, hey, we're still not making any money. And on top of that, we enter a pandemic where we finally see the shutdown of the dollar meal, and it only becomes the value meal where you see like the McDouble and the ice cream cone, and that's it, and yada yada. And it's and those are still like $3, $4, $5 for what used to be $1.
Yep.
That is, and like that is my fear with Game Pass, is that we are reaching a point where you are going to see a dollar here, a dollar there, a dollar there.
Game Pass was $1 for a minute, remember?
Yeah.
Every holiday they do that. They're even running a promo right now for Game Pass on PC. First month's $1, and then it's like $11.99. But in terms of it, when does the price hike stop, and where do we lose the value? Because look at things like Netflix right now, where Netflix is starting to reach upwards of $20 just so you can watch it on more than 2 screens. What happens if we reach an era with Game Pass where it's not financially viable for people? I was having this conversation with my manager who has 3 kids and sold games on an Xbox One. The Game Pass is still the best thing for everybody. Yeah, I know, right? But the Game Pass is still a great tool for a lot of individuals. But what happens when it's not financially viable anymore? And yes, it is still, like Hug said, like some games are $70, $80, $100 at this point. So for now, it is still seen as the best deal in town. But what happens when that's not even a thing anymore? When the best deal in town is this or the highway, to where they start raising the price of base games to $100, $120 US, not even Canadian. And we start to see an era where they don't even let you buy a game. They go the Ubisoft route and say, no, you got to buy a license. You got to pay the subscription.
I think people will start switching back to free-to-play games like heavily at that point.
Exactly.
There's only so much you can take before you break.
Right, and in terms of that, the other thing that I would that sort of ties into this that I was going to start talking about was we're starting to see the advent of the console exclusive die, and it's going to reach a point here soon where I hate to say that Valve was right all along, but we're going to reach an era where everyone's either on a PC or everyone's on a Steam box, where you have launchers on the Steam box where you can plug and play, because the people still say they want their plug and play machine. But otherwise, every publisher, every studio is going to go to Microsoft, go to AMD, go to NVIDIA for their preferred Steam box, and that's it. We're not going to have PlayStations. We're not going to have Xboxes anymore, because we're reaching a point where you can only innovate graphics so much for them to be cost effective. So it's going to be a Steam box. It's going to be, you pay Microsoft for Call of Duty and Doom and everything else. You're going to pay a PlayStation launcher for Spider-Man and whatever. You pay Nintendo's launcher for Mario, etc. And it's going to be just one launcher on one box that, like, you won't get a disc anymore. You'll be paying for a subscription basis. That the idea of you owning your games is going to disappear, because it won't be financially viable to have that anymore. And that's the era we're entering into. Yeah, Ubisoft ushered it the minute they said, like with the Crew, you don't own your game.
You own that?
License. So that's where my fear is that Game Pass is essentially the dollar menu, and soon the dollar menu will be going away if we don't buckle up and get ready for it.
Let me add to that too, because I agree with what he just said. You know, coming from one, fat man to another.
I'm the leader of the Fat Guy Coalition.
I was like, I saw a tear come out of my eye when you started talking about the dollar. I was like, but in all honesty, we're already in that era, bro. Think about it. Really think about it.
We're already there.
What Fame was saying earlier when he was talking about the numbers. PlayStation users are the ones that are holding on to physical editions of games.
Exactly.
Showcases. PlayStation users are like 50% are physical, and then 49% are digital. Xbox, 29 or 20-something percent are physical, and everybody else is all digital. Yep. So it shows that people that are mainly playing on Xbox, they know where gaming is going. And I think PlayStation users are just getting a little bit, they're kind of still hard grasping on it. Listen, like right here on my computer desk, you can't see it because it's a stupid ass digital background, but God of War PlayStation 2 physical edition, a black physical edition, one of the best games ever made. What you mean? It's one of the best first-person shooters at that time. You know, it was like such an impactful game, but there was something special about getting physical edition games back in the day when you got PS2 and Xbox and PS3 and 360, and the collector's editions that came with them were so special and meant so much.
A
Getting
game
all that
manual.
stuff. The game
a
manual.
game man. Remember when the game manuals just became like just caution things and they were bare as heck? But
Yeah.
like look what Nintendo's doing right now. They are flat out saying your game cartridge just activates your license.
Exactly.
It doesn't even allow you to have the game on the cartridge.
Yes.
That's a concern, dog.
Yeah, bro. That's literally a tie-in with what you said about Ubisoft earlier, saying, well, you don't technically own the game. You know, so that's what Nintendo is trying to say. Hey, listen, you may buy this game from us, and we may be overcharging you, but you do not own this game. So it's a big pill to swallow in the gaming universe in general, because we're seeing it change so fast, so rapidly over the years. It's getting away from not just in our generation of things, but like a normality that has been something normal in the games industry for 30 years. The way that these games are produced and sold is completely changing in just a 10-year time span. And it's fascinating to see it happen, but at the same time, it is concerning, because you think, man, holy crap. Like, are we just going to eventually, before Fame and everybody that's, you know, that, I don't know what the age range is of everybody on here, but, you know, it just meant so much, because if you bought the physical edition instead of the digital edition, you knew there was going to be that upcharge because you're buying the physical edition. So now it's like, you know, I'm buying the digital edition for the same fucking shit. You know, I'm buying it for $100 and I get an extra.
And I can never sell the key.
Yes, like
that's the other thing too. Yeah, the idea of used games is going out with the bathwater at this point, and it's like, ooh, the idea. Like, I hate to say, Curse Farms has a point with the UK right now, but Stop Killing Games may need to be a thing at this point. Like,
really quickly, really quickly. Before I got to transition, I'm looking at the time. I got to transition. I apologize. Great points, but Hugger. Before I transition, did Canada ever have a dollar menu for McDonald's?
Yeah,
it was actually a
dollar menu, $5 foot long. Yeah,
cause y'all be taxing.
You ever seen a Canadian dollar?
Y'all be. I want to ask, cause everything out there is like 10 times what it is out here. So I was gotta ask.
I don't have a dollar, but that's a toonie.
A toonie.
Oh, a toonie. That's $2 right there.
Last thing, do y'all money still smell like maple syrup before I transition?
The $100 because they're less in circulation. But could you imagine being a dancer at a certain gentleman's club and getting hit with a toonie?
No, I have a question for Hugger. I really need to know this. This is very important. What is your favorite Tim Hortons donut?
Oh, I don't eat their donuts. They're not homemade anymore. They're
That's
frozen.
fair. I used to work there, but like there's this running joke from How I Met Your Mother that like you can ask any Canadian what their favorite Tim Hortons donut is, they will have that answer ready.
I go to double all day, but no donuts.
Really quickly, before we get to the last section of the show, let you guys know we are 4 likes from hitting our goal of 30 of the show, man. If you guys can drop a like, man, I see it's 24 y'all watching. Appreciate y'all for it. Let's hit 30 likes.
Come on, holla at us.
I want to transition right to this article that was put up at Windows Central about Halo. Okay, I'm gonna read out this part from this because it is a bit concerning. So I'm reading out this part. I believe it was J.S. Corton who wrote this. No, it was Brendan Lowry. J.S. shared it. So I always assume everything J.S. shares he wrote, but it was from someone else, Windows Central, right? And it's talking about it's right after the layoffs happened, and it's talking about Halo and the upcoming Halo, right? And so I want to read this part out to you and get y'all thought on it, right? So following the division-wide Xbox email from Microsoft Gaming's CEO Phil Spencer about the imminent organizational shifts to increase agility and effectiveness, last week affected Halo Studio employees were brought into a meeting with leaders and informed of layoffs. One developer says, I'm personally super pissed that Phil Spencer's email was bragged about how this is the most profitable year for Xbox, in the same breath pulling the lever on the layoffs. The developer said, I wasn't sure what part I was supposed to be. I wasn't sure what part of that I was supposed to be proud about. The developer also reportedly said things are tense at the studio right now, and that they have been so even before Also, they have been so even before last week's layoffs. With Halo Infinite support winding down, it's been said that the developer is working on multiple projects in Unreal Engine 5, which I believe we're getting Halo Combat Evolved in Unreal Engine 5 on PlayStation 5, right? That's my belief. One of these implies that the next Halo game we might see later this year and could be out in time for Xbox's 25th anniversary has apparently gone through significant development struggles. I don't think anybody's really happy about the quality of the product right now, the developer told Engadget. And there's been a lot of tension and pep talks trying to rally folks up, right? Last bit of part of this. They went on to discuss the shift from working with individuals contracted temporarily, something former Halo studio developers have criticized strongly in the past, to instead contracting entire studios for development support. So it really sounds like, last bit. Xbox in general feels years behind the curve in game development, and it leads to a lot of wasted time and effort, they said, before adding, they're trying their damnedest to replace as many jobs as they can with AI agents. Right? So, we talked about earlier in the show about them investing that money into AI. We're hearing it, I'm sure, anonymously, developers are saying, hey, there's turmoil, issues happening within the studio, right? Hug, I do want to start with you, sis. Are you concerned about the next Halo, having, issues, number one, and number two, about this talk of AI really being the pushing Microsoft?
The AI, of course, always, because who you replacing, why you're replacing them, and why can't my Spotify playlist get all the songs I want? Like, if Spotify can't get it right, I doubt a full run game that people have loved for 30 years will be great with AI. I'm not surprised by issues. Baron always says, let the documentary drop of what's been behind the scenes. But are we truly surprised? Everything in the gaming industry has been ravaged by layoffs and AI and CEOs thinking they know everything, so I'm not surprised there's turmoil. It just sucks for everybody else. It really does.
And the reason I'm surprised, Hugger, because I knew back then problems with Halo 5 and Infinite was the slip space engine, right? There were so many issues with that engine. So saying they're moving over to what we hear is an easier and better engine than Unreal Engine 5, they're still having issues. JP, I'm going to swing over to you. You worried about Halo having some issues on top of that, them really pushing with AI?
So, how do I phrase this in the best way possible? Mike, I said before, like on Twitter a while back, where I had said around the time that Bethesda got purchased by Microsoft, I had said the way Microsoft will win the console war is by just buying everybody else. Because Microsoft, to me, stopped being a game studio that cared about making games when Rare came out and was just making Viva Pinata and stuff like that back on the 360. Microsoft seems like they are more focused on being a publisher rather than a game maker. They would rather put money behind projects and see them succeed rather than make something of themselves. Because all throughout the Xbox One and PS4 generation, that's all you ever saw was Microsoft putting, like, either buying somebody and saying they're an Xbox studio, quote unquote, and putting out their titles, or you saw just every E3 that was back when E3 was a thing, just indie stuff being pushed out because they were buying up indie studios. What was the last, besides Halo, what was the last Xbox, not id Software, not Bethesda, not Blizzard, Microsoft title that was supposed to be a first-party release? Scalebound.
And it got canceled.
Well, Perfect Dark, but Scalebound. Scalebound was what was a game that was supposed to be coming out, supposed to be a first-party release for Microsoft, and it got canceled.
That was
Platinum.
Was that Platinum?
Platinum.
Yeah, Platinum was working on Skip.
Okay, I misspoke, but like that game specifically was sort of the end of times bell ringing for Microsoft making in their own games to me, where like they weren't going to have exclusives anymore. They were going to have exclusives they made somebody else make, because you saw like the minute the Blizzard acquisition happened, you haven't seen Microsoft do nothing but talk about Master Chief or like another Gears of War. But where's new innovation? Where's new things from Microsoft? You see new things from Blizzard. You see new things from Bethesda. I think we're going to reach a point where you're going to see large tech polls. You'll see Epic, you'll see Valve, you'll see Microsoft. And one of two things is either going to happen. You're going to see Microsoft buy Nintendo, or you're going to see or you're going to see Nintendo do just enough to be a cloud service like Stadia. Because I'm of the belief that in the next 5 to 10 years, you are going to see either Nintendo become all pachinko machines, or you're going to see them sell off their properties to Microsoft and just become pachinko machines. Because I don't think Nintendo wants to be in the market anymore of making games. I think they would. I could see Phil Spencer being the arbiter of a Nintendo acquisition by Microsoft, and then Microsoft just being the payer of everybody else to make games, and then PlayStation, Epic, and Valve are just the other three temp poles of the four markets, and it just becomes who's gonna go to who to make your game. JP, that's what it seems like is happening.
I don't want to say the word because I don't want to get demonetized, right? But before the show, you might have taken something that rhymes with Smo Pain, because there is no way on any Earth 616 1099 there is no Earth in the great MCU where Microsoft is going to own Nintendo.
No, someone's going to, because
Nintendo will own Xbox before Microsoft owns Nintendo.
Mark my words. The minute Miyamoto steps down and is in the nursing home, they are going to either turn Mario into pachinko machines, or they are going to sell off Mario to WB, Universal, Disney, or whoever, or Microsoft, and it's going to be done. I'm telling you.
I am willing to sell my left breastises as a bet to let you know that ain't happening, G. I wouldn't have put
the minute Miyamoto is gone, it's over.
Nintendo
the minute Miyamoto is gone, it's over.
You are on Smo Pain, bro.
But that's where I'm at. I feel like Microsoft doesn't want to. Microsoft doesn't want to make games no more. They want to pay other people to make games. That's what it seems like is happening at this point. And I feel like
Microsoft problem, not Nintendo's.
Yeah, right. But like,
Nintendo sold this cardboard.
But like my point
Nintendo sold this cardboard.
The notion that Miyamoto is the thing that's
they sold us lab.
That makes it make a little more sense. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Oh, see, he gets it. He gets it.
I just know the way Japanese companies run, and they do not care about us.
Look at Konami. Look at Konami.
Konami's Pitfire.
Exactly.
Konami's,
the minute Miyamoto is gone, you are going to see Mario be nothing but pachinko machines. I'm telling you, it's going to happen.
I'm willing to bet that he alone on this. But Dallas, I'm gonna switch over to you, and you can address that tomfoolery. We ain't got that much time left, but D, I'm gonna swing over to you. Halo, I forgot the point. Halo having problems, and them possibly using AI. Your thoughts? We ain't talking about this tomfoolery of Microsoft buying Nintendo, because ain't no way, shape, or form. Okay,
I'll just be the top bomb middle of the corner. It's fine.
I don't see Microsoft literally buying Nintendo. I think Nintendo's biggest asset is identity. In the way that we look at Disney, we say all the time, Nintendo's Japanese. But a part of me believes that there are people at Nintendo who who find like the magic less important but want to keep the image, if that makes any sense at all. Which is what makes that statement, like the notion that Miyamoto would be the one thing right now standing in between them and losing their soul making sense. Now, would that culminate in them being sold to Microsoft? I doubt it. But is there something in that just makes too much sense for me to just write off, right?
Nintendo was outliving all of us, bro. Y'all tweaking.
It is. No, that's not to say that
you can live. You just have to be you living in what way?
It's just the form in which it might live after there's no longer that influence that keeps you grounded in any way. You know what I mean? Like we might have roasted.
Girl, we'll be dead. It won't matter. Be dead. It won't matter.
That's true.
Okay. We're going hypotheticals. We'll be dead. It won't matter.
But I do think it's just as monumental and also just as closer in proximity as like the all digital future that we're talking about for you. I do think it's much closer to I think we're much closer to it than we give it credit for. Do I think it'll matter in the long run? No. We actually matter in the long run. I mean, it changes our lives, but we're gonna roll with the punches like good machine, ain't we?
You're kind of cutting out.
We're hearing every other word you're saying because
JP
JP slid some of that smoke pain over to you, and you as you fix your mic, Caleb, I'm gonna switch over to you, bro. We trying our best to talk about Halo, but do you want to quickly address and please tell them that they crazy before we talk about Halo and AI? Tell them they crazy, bro.
Okay, well, real quick, the Halo topic. So it's not. I want to state this because I've got a little soapbox that I got to stand up whenever I talk to him about this crazy shit he just said about Nintendo. No, so think about the Halo thing in this perspective. Okay, so when the Halo restructure happened and it was changed from 343 to Halo Studios, what was the image that Microsoft pushed out for the studio? We're bigger and better than ever. We got a new engine. It's going to be the most realistic Halo that you've ever seen. It's going to feel like Halo of olden age. Blah, 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 blah. And then, still to this day, we don't know exactly how many people were affected in the layoffs, but they laid those people off. They went to John Romero. Do you know who John Romero is? I'm still pissed off about this, okay? One of the godfathers of the first-person shooter genre, okay? The amount of time that this man has put into the games industry of helping build it into what it was is extramental, okay? Go to his studio weeks prior and have meetings with him about the product and what they're making. And hey, we're very excited for this. And then weeks later, say, hey, sorry, we're defunding your game. Okay? Listen, this is what has made me so mad. It's not about Warcraft Rumble getting shut down. Nobody fucking played Warcraft Rumble. Okay? Who cares? Sledgehammer Games, listen, I feel for anybody affected by this, but like, Sledgehammer, High Moon Studios, they're all part of Activision. Activision was a monopoly of itself that eventually was going to get trimmed down. I understand that. But Perfect Dark and the Initiative, the Initiative getting closed down and the game being completely canceled. And then the new MMO that ZeniMax was supposed to be working on, completely canceled, which was supposedly, Xbox had seen and liked. Everwild, canceled. Turn 10 Studios, the main developer behind Forza Motorsports, which is, to me, when I think of Xbox, I think of Gears of War, Halo, and Forza. I don't think about Killer Instinct. I don't think about all these other games here and there, whatever. Forza. They laid off 50% of their staff and shuttered the studio enough that they're talking about, Forza Motorsports as a series might be shuttered now. Okay? Like,
that's terrifying.
We thought Neversoft closing was the end of the world.
Hello, I'm like so confused here of what is going on in the industry to think that these type of practices are okay. It's not about like, bro, Microsoft, you cannot go to a restaurant, all right, and buy the biggest fucking steak out there and then eat it and then afterwards say, I'm going to spit some of this back out, and I want all my motherfucking money back. You know, that's just not, that's not the way we go and eat shit, okay? So it's the same thing if you buy massive amounts of companies, or if you buy an umbrella company. If you're going to cut the fat, trim the fat at the beginning, and then call it. Give the time to the studios and the developers to try and actually do something. Don't do what you did with Arcane Austin, to where even Arcane Austin had said, hey, listen, you know, the game that we've made is not really up to par of what we actually want to do, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, we'll release it anyways. It's already past the point. Release it, and we'll just have to take the loss on it. And then guess what? They end up taking the loss. And I'm not going to name the person because they have not given me the right to quote them on this. But I am going to dance around what was said by a very good friend of mine that worked in the industry for quite some time about this Game Pass method and the way that Xbox is doing business now. Worked at a company that was purchased by Microsoft, no longer works there after many, many years, and said this: I think it's fair to say that this deal was a disaster. They have been terrible stewards. Hold up, I'm sorry. They have been terrible stewards, and the people who didn't get massive payouts from the deal have been hit the hardest. As a fellow developer at this company, my heart is sick at these type of decisions. And as a shareholder, I see no future in the Xbox brand. Pretty fucking big words, okay? So, like, me personally, I am still sick at my stomach because of it. You know, I think about just last year being invited by Xbox and go up to this thing, and we go up to this top area and have this awesome, you know, pre-show event and all this other stuff, and a after event and all this other, you know, and it was like Microsoft was back. It kind of felt like what they were saying was real. It was like, I remember sitting right in front of Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond when they were telling us, hey, y'all should be really excited because we've got some awesome stuff for you guys. Like, man, it's going to be cool and blah, 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 blah. But what does that make me realize? They're salesmen. They are salesmen that if they don't say what is being fed to them, they're not going to get their bonus. They're not going to get their check, you know. And I saw it, you know, it sucked looking at it like this, but I saw it to where they were like at the same time frame that Xbox and Microsoft announced that they were doing all these job cuts, that Phil Spencer was playing Indiana Jones on his Xbox. And it was like a screenshot of him playing Indiana Jones. And I'm like, God damn, you know, like, he enjoys the games, but bro, like, I mean, I know he's only in the position that he's in. And my co-host Toaster kind of pointed this out. You know, these type of decisions are, of course, made to a point out of his control. But in his position with his pool, I would think that he would have to say something. I mean, in the sense of like, hey, is this really the right thing that we're doing? You know, why would we bring these people into our fold and then afterwards just cut it? All right, and then lastly, bro, what is the stuff that you have been? I mean, you said it's something that sounded like propane. I feel like propane and propane accessories.
propane.
Like, what? Listen, I remember the quote back in the day that Microsoft actually approached Nintendo about buying them. And it was stated that they were laughed out of the room.
But think about how much Phil Spencer has been talking recently about the fact that he wants to put Nintendo on the Xbox. He wants to put things of that nature. He wants to have, so the writing has already been sort of like ticking in certain directions. Maybe not owning them outright, but it's going to get to a point here where Nintendo might just become a launcher, where Nintendo stops making, like, especially if the Switch 2 doesn't pivot in a better direction now, because the Switch 2 is like trying to price gouge. It's starting to break people's stuff if they even touch it the wrong way. Like, you are going to see a big enough push to where Nintendo goes, we're only going to make game.
I think JP just hate Nintendo, bro, because ain't no way he's
I
gonna die on this hill, bro.
I love Nintendo. I love it. Pokemon. Like, I've been playing Pokemon since before I could walk. I have a giant Bulbasaur and a giant Fuecoco in my room. Like, I love Nintendo. But at the same time, Yeah, go ahead.
Think about it like this. Nintendo, okay, and this is on July 8th. Nintendo announced officially, as we've all known, that the Nintendo Switch sold a total of 3.5 million units in just 4 days of launch.
You can't even find one right now.
So think about it like this. I have said this about Nintendo for years. I was a big PlayStation Vita guy. And I was like, man, it's such a underutilized piece of equipment. They don't use it right. They don't do this and this. But I constantly said during that time frame that Nintendo owns the fucking market, bro. They have their corner of the market, and they don't care about us. They don't care what we think. They don't care what we want. They don't care what we're going to say about gaming. This is what we're launching, and if you don't like it, fuck you. Who cares?
Yeah.
We're gonna sell it anyway.
And with that, I'm sorry. Shout out to T4 to $2 Super Chat. He said, thank you to the person that gave me a membership. I think that was Bounty Wagwan was gifting memberships last episode. So shout out to T4 for $2 Super Chat. Thank you so much. Listen, we went over our time. Hugga is having a dance party, and that's why I love her so much. No, you guys are perfectly fine. Hugga
is getting it.
And she must have had whatever JP had.
Yeah, we were sharing.
He must have slid over some of that propane.
That chick on that video, she's like, I'm your freestyle dance teacher.
You're not to bliss.
This was one hell of a show. If you guys go in the description down below, if you guys want to check out my homie Caleb, man, his link is in the description down below. Full stop. Also, if you want to check out the homie JP, man, check out his website and everything he does on Twitch, man. JP and Caleb will definitely be back on the show, man. We're going to continue to do this, man. For those who are rocking with us, man, if you haven't hit that like button yet, on the way out the door, hit that like button, man, because it's free $99. It don't cost you a dime. This ain't Twitch, baby. Hit that subscribe button. Listen, if you guys want to keep it locked in to LV1Gaming.com, it is ad-free. News, reviews, and opinion pieces going up daily, right? We are blessed to be somewhat in this industry and allowed to get review codes and review copies and stuff, man, and talk about things, man. We have an amazing team. We just want to share out the work that they do. If you guys want to support us, please consider becoming a channel member. We have multiple tiers. Every single dime we get goes into LV1Gaming.com. Literally, every single dime we make allows us to keep our website up and running. And thank you guys so much for that. Listen, we won't be back.
25 likes.
Yeah, man. I wanted to hit 30, but we hit 25, so I appreciate that. Yeah. I want to say we'll be back next week, but we likely won't in that place because I want the team to have an off day. It'll likely be a 15 minutes fame. 15 minutes of fame. And if anybody decides they want to come rock with me, they more than likely they'll
what do we got tomorrow, fame?
I'll be there.
Tomorrow.
I'll be around. I can hang out.
Tomorrow. We haven't done this in a while, right? But tomorrow, me and Hugga will be going live for a show we haven't done in a long time. We're doing Take 2, right? So if you got an opinion, if you butthurt about Ironheart, you know what I'm saying? If you're excited for Spider-Man, our pop culture show, we talk about a lot of anime. We talk about a lot of Marvel stuff and DC stuff, man. Come check us out tomorrow, man, because I'm telling you, I got some things to say about Ironheart, and I want somebody who is butthurt about it to come fight me about it, right? With all that said, congratulations. You guys are leveled up. This was the Level 1 Gaming Podcast. We'll see you guys next Wednesday.
I'm kidding.
Peace.
Peace out.
Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all, living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chilling with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then